Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, April 27th, 2017. Just on my way to work here. I wanted to hit on today on probably the turning point in my life where I'm still dealing with. I'll be dealing with my knee injury for the rest of my life, but a lot of things kind of came out of that whole situation. So it was in July of 2010, and I was playing basketball in Montana. Working for like a job function with my employer that I had after college, called Project Woes, and it was a work sanctioned basketball tournament. I just happened to drive in basketball, go for a layup, plant my left foot, and I just heard a pop. I went flying through the air. I don't even remember how I landed, but the only thing I remember is the only word I could say, which is the F word. And I just said it over and over and over and over and over again. It was the most excruciating pain I've ever had. And, oh man, it was painful. And then I had to get carried, assisted to a car. Had to been driven, because it was up in the mountains in Montana, miles and miles away from civilization. And we went to the hospital, which is the Granite County Hospital, I believe, and it's in the back of a retirement home or an elders community, and I think they had an x-ray machine and maybe one stethoscope. And I went in there and they took an x-ray, and he said, yeah, you probably want to get an MRI. So I got an MRI, which was extremely painful because they put your knee in this metal enclosed brace, and you can't move your leg, but it was swollen, and so it was painful because I had to keep it in there for, I can't remember how long it was, but it was the longest, like, half hour of my life. And come to find out, I had ruptured my patellar tendon, which is, it's a little, if you feel your kneecap and then slide your fingers down each side and pinch in the middle, it's that little tendon that connects your kneecap to your tibia and fibula down your lower part of your leg. So essentially, without that tendon, your leg just dangles there. So you need that tendon to flex your knee. It also helps flex your quad, your thigh. And so without that, you can walk around with a stiff leg the whole time, but you're going to have atrophy. Your muscles are going to deteriorate and get smaller. And as soon as I heard that news, I was just like, my medical insurance didn't kick in until 2 days later. And I was between a rock and a hard place. And so I needed surgery. I met with an orthopedic surgeon. He says, you need to get this surgery soon, because the longer you wait, the more the tendon will start to shrivel up, and the more shriveled up it gets, the harder it is for me to extend it to its original state, and you may have a permanent disability if you don't deal with it right away, because it just it won't be as long as it is now. So time was of the essence. Well, I didn't have medical insurance, and I was working at a job that paid me, I don't even know if it was minimum wage. It was pretty rough. It was like $17,000 a year salary. It was my first job after college. And so essentially I had to dig up half the money to pay for the surgery. And then after that surgery, I was responsible for the surgery fees, the MRI fees, the physical therapy fees, the follow-ups with the doctor fees, the medication and all of that stuff. And here it is. The physical therapy process was tough. I had to sleep in a machine for months that kept my knee moving. I like to sleep on my side. I had to sleep on my back and keep my leg in this machine while it moved my knee to help with the flexibility. And it was just the longest time of my life. From July of 2010 to January 2011 was the longest time of my life. And I wasn't very happy because I couldn't do anything. It was rough getting around. It was tough being physical to do anything, even going up and down stairs, sitting down in the toilet, all that stuff. Extremely difficult. And I didn't finish my physical therapy the way that I should have, which I ultimately paid for later. But here it is. It's April of 2017, and I'm still paying those medical bills. And essentially, it was 3 years ago, and I was looking into, I needed to get a new car, and I've been running from that debt the entire time. I was maybe paying here and there, but realistically it was in collections. My credit score was affected by it, and I couldn't get an auto loan for my car. And so being, a 34-year-old man, not being able to get your own car loan to get a car that you need to function on your job was a hard thing to swallow, and so I bit the bullet. I got a co-signer for my car, which was embarrassing because I have a lot of pride. I don't want to not be able to do things on my own. And I took a day off work, and I spent the entire day contacting, I did a credit check. I contacted every creditor that I had. Most of them, I think 9 out of the 10 were all medical related. The other one was a credit card that I had after college that I just used, and I couldn't make payments on it because I wasn't making enough. So essentially, I'm not blaming anybody. It was my responsibility, and I wasn't accountable for it. And so I deserved to have that, this come back to haunt me, because it was a wake-up call, huge wake-up call. And so I took one day off, contacted every creditor, and ever since then I've been paying a large amount of money every single month to pay these bills off. And I have one more payment in May, and then in June I'm going to use my bonus to pay everything off. And so as of June of 2017, I will be completely eradicated of every single debt that I owe, other than my student loan and my car payment. So just in roughly 3 years, I will have erased nearly $20,000 in debt, most of it, being medical bills. So you can't run from your problems. I had a fear of just dealing with it because I didn't want to, adjust my budget. I didn't want to not have Netflix. I didn't want to get rid of Hulu Plus. I didn't want to get rid of my cell phone payment that I had because I wanted the best phone. I didn't want to get rid of this. I didn't want to, not have hiking gear. I didn't want to, all these materialistic things that realistically you can live without. And I've had to cut out of my life for 3 years, and it's been an easy transition, honestly. You just kind of focus on the things that you need in life, and if you don't need it, then you don't get it. So I had to make a lot of cuts financially, but as of June 2017, I'm going to post everything when I get done, but I will have eradicated up to $20,000 in debt from my credit, and I should be able to get back on my feet, because my ultimate goal is to, when my girlfriend and we get married and everything like that, we get our first house together, I want to have a good credit score in order for us to get a good interest rate on the house. So it took a huge wake-up call for me, but message received, and it was embarrassing. It was a hard time. It was me basically saying, look, you can't run from these problems anymore. You just have to deal with it. And also another part of my job is I teach responsibility and accountability, and for me not to do that would make me a hypocrite. And I have a lot of pride in me practicing what I preach. And so I preach this stuff, and for me not to be able to practice it makes me a hypocrite. And you can't get up there and tell people to make the right decisions and be accountable for your actions when you're not doing it yourself. So I owned up to it. I've been paying, like I said, $500+ a month towards my debt. And I'm proud to say that one more monthly payment, and then using my bonus in June, it's going to be all gone. And I won't have to worry about it anymore. And that's $500 more in my pocket a month that I use to put in my 401k, that I can use to pay off my student loans, to go into my vacation savings, to go into my extra savings and my CD account, all that stuff, and go into my daughter's college fund. So you just have to own up and bite the bullet and deal with it for a certain amount of time, because your problems and the decisions that you made have consequences. And if you don't deal with those consequences, they're going to come back and get you. You can't run from them forever. And I thought that I could, and I couldn't. And I had to deal with it, and I'm now dealing with it. But I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I see the life that I'm possibly going to have once it's done. And I'm I'm looking forward to it. I'm extremely excited, and I can't wait to not have to pay $500 a month on debt that I honestly could have taken care of a long time ago, but I was just running from my problems. So that's a lesson to be learned. That's the lesson of the day. Appreciate you watching. Please comment, subscribe, like, share, discuss. I love hearing all your comments, and I appreciate you listening and spending time with me to listen to what I have to talk about, because that means a lot to me. From my heart, thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next video. Thank you.